pouring into the ocean.
When man began, he began in the age of stone. With stone he was able to tame parts of the land where he was made to habitate. Soon he found beasts from which stone would not draw blood. So he delved into the earth and found metal. The metal that he had found was strong, stronger than stone, and with it he could slay the larger beasts and build the larger habitats. Soon he grew weary of bronze, and iron followed. With iron he began to tie his bit around the mouth of the world, and soon there was no other enemy but himself. To slay himself, man needed something stronger, and he found that in iron again. Iron he changed into steel. Then the age of steel slowly drifted to an end, as man found his newest age of material to make the world with.
Man-made plastic. We live in an age of plastic, without question. We drive in plastic cars, eat with plastic forks, drink from plastic bottles. We watch videos on squares full of plastic. Truly, the modern world is one of plastic, and the bio world is soon to follow. Mountains of plastic, large and granular, pour into the ocean and the woodlands. A veritable ocean of synthetic polymer drowns out the animals of the world, and we are too busy wondering if we should fix it instead of fixing it. With the help of corporations and lenient governing bodies, we will never change, and life will continue as it is until we stand on plastic-drenched beaches before empty oceans in the sweltering heat of the polluted sky. Less than 0.3 million metric tons of plastic are estimated to be currently circulating on the ocean surface, which represents a small fraction of the estimated 9 to 23 million metric tons of plastic that are emitted annually into rivers, lakes, and the ocean. That is a direct quote from Matthew McLeod in The Global Threat from Plastic Pollution. Another quote from McLeod is, "Entanglement and ingestion of plastic jeopardizes 17% of the 693 species on the IUCN's Red List." That's rough to hear, isn't it? Yes, the animals dying is sad, but is it not also embarrassing to think about 23 million metric tons of unrotting solid waste that we are just pouring into the ocean? It's so blatant, it's almost insulting. To add injury to insult, it's also killing the environment inside the ocean. Plastic debris increases the susceptibility of reef-building corals to disease. That's another science article, this time provided by Jolea B. Lamb, from a piece titled "Plastic Waste Associated with Disease on Coral Reefs." So the planet is dying? Now we need someone to blame. And if you've been fed wonderful misinformation by the American media industry, you'll probably think it's China. Well, China makes the most air pollution, so they must make the most waste, and all of our stuff is coming from China, so it's gotta be them, right? You'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong. According to a study by Kara Lavender Law titled "The United States Contribution of Plastic Waste to Land and Ocean." In 2016, the U.S. population produced the largest mass of plastic waste of any country in the world and also had the largest annual per capita plastic waste generation of the top plastic waste. And upon reading further, we can see that the U.S. not only produces the most plastic waste, let's go USA, but we also produce the most waste, period. Now don't worry, that heavy feeling in your stomach isn't an impromptu disease. It's the very same feeling I got when I researched this paper. It's shame. Let's sit with that for a second. Now, let's do the other thing the media likes to do. Let's try to shift the blame just one more time to one other person. Maybe it's just one state's fault. You know, I don't want to point fingers, but I don't think anything good comes out of South Dakota. Now, according to unfortunately, no. But fortunately, I have another study to cite. According to the Ocean Conservancy, the entire U.S. needs to vastly improve its recycling habits. Certain states are pulling more than their weight. Who would have guessed California? At least they're doing something, right? While others drag the whole lot down. Alaska, I bet you didn't see that one coming. Surprised me too. But overall, we are doing the minimum amount of work for the minimal amount of return. Just like I did on this assignment, until I reviewed my sources and found that most of them didn't have any of the information I needed. Let's focus on a state I'm more familiar with. According to the final United States of Plastic report, July 2025, that's from the Ocean Conservancy, by the way, so it's the same report. Utah has yet to pass legislation that would specifically address plastic pollution. What a shame. At least we're not hindering it. Oh, wait, I wrote more in my notes. And has enacted a law that could hinder further progress. Wonderful. Oh, there's more. The state does not have any extended producer responsibility or deposit return programs for packaging or beverage containers. The state has also adopted policies that support harmful chemical recycling. So let's sit with that for a second. Well, let's just think about what we've been unknowingly doing. I'm going to blame Swig for no particular reason. I think their business model is overblown. But in a more serious but still silly manner, I don't think anyone's surprised to hear this, especially if you're from Utah. Mike Lee literally pretends like climate change isn't real. Neither does Ted Cruz, but I do not have the time for making this video to get into all of the environmental problems with Texas. Though I would still recommend you use metal alternatives. Now, normally, this is where all the fun ends, and I simply say, well, that's the problem. It's out of your control, you know? And you get this fun doomer mindset that you can't change the world and you can't fix the problems in your own country. But I don't believe in that. What do we do with the recycling? I think what do we do about this and that? Zooming in is the best option, despite the broken scroll wheel on my mouse. How much waste do you think you produce? Utahns specifically. Now, according to Kara Lavender Law, from the United States Contribution of Plastic and Waste to Land and Ocean, and a little bit of math on my part, which I can tell you is not fun. In the United States, per person, 286 pounds of plastic waste are produced per year. Now, I am roughly 200 pounds, 203 on a bad day, or 200. There are no good days. I'm just about 200. So that means per year, I myself, the man making this and talking down to you for your sins against the environment, am producing roughly a single me, and then some, per year. And then just throwing that directly into the ocean. It'd be easier. Everything will die. But at least you won't have to. I am not a small person. I'm quite large, in fact. I don't have to walk through doors sideways, but I do hit my head on stuff at my job sometimes. Try to picture 300 pounds of plastic right in front of you. That's a lot of plastic. Now, while you are not going to produce the most plastic, obviously, it is still important that you acknowledge you are part of this problem with the rest of us. So let's sit with that for a second. Let's just think about what we've been unknowingly doing to the Earth. Ooh, that's a tough feeling. But that's enough of wallowing. I have a personal definition of evil, and that is when you learn what you are doing causes harm, and you choose to do it regardless. That is evil. So I vote we don't be evil. But what is to be done? Now, on a personal level, we need to stop using single-use plastics. I can't stop you from needing a new phone, needing a new computer, needing to fix parts of your car. Though I would still recommend you use metal alternatives. It's mostly the single use that we have to worry about. Where you can use reusables, use them, and where you can't, just don't be there. But on a state level, that's where it gets fun. We need to start getting involved in committees. You need to start going, as well as I, to meetings about, oh, what do we do with the recycling? What do we do about this and that? What about plastic waste? Should we collect more plastic? Should we just send it to a dump? Utahns specifically really need to put in some work. Because we are low on the list of people trying to fix the problem. Especially with our senator, who likes to pretend none of that's happening. Now, I do not know how to encourage that behavior. Despite my amazing teacher, I am simply not educated enough to tell you what things to vote for, what things to push. I would say trust the experts on that one. But it is time we get out there and start trying to get rid of all of this clear polymer crap that we are covering our Earth with. No. But fortunately, I have another study to cite. Or we can just give up. It'd be easier. Everything will die, but at least you won't have to go to some meetings after work. I hope to see you at those meetings. At least they're doing something, right? While others drag the whole Stop using single-use plastics.